tried for his spiritual activities, an alleged attempt to escape from the country, and for hiding a radio transmitter, and sentenced to 24 years in jail. The time spent in prison did not break his spirit. In fact, when he was released prematurely in 1964, he practically had to be thrown out of jail because he refused to accept the amnesty as a form of protest against the illegal procedure of the judiciary in his case. He believed strongly in the right to freedom of religion, and upon his release in 1964, he was secretly ordained a bishop and founded the secret church Koinotes. He would hold secret seminars which were primarily intended for the preparation of future priests. In 1965, these meetings spread throughout Czechoslovakia. Davidek's teaching was very complex and in many ways very progressive. The bishop placed special emphasis on keeping his disciples constantly broadening their horizons through art, discussing everything from film, exhibitions, music, and plays of the time. In addition to he recommended that future priests take language courses and study various other disciplines. He himself was very interested in cybernetics, for example. Davidek ordained a whole generation of priests out of sight of the then regime, far overstepping his powers. He ordained several married men and also 3 women. The Vatican ordered him to stop, but he disregarded the order, allegedly believing that it was misinformation from the communist secret police. Prague Archbishop Dominik Duka says it was his way of resisting the persecution of the communist regime.
Vycházel, a to byla prostě základní chyba, z velkého strachu.
He harbored the fear that, especially after 1968, the Russians would come and deport our priests to Siberia. That led him to err. He basically ordained anyone with a vocation of his own free will, so that there would always be priests in reserve.
Na Sibíř, takže je zapotřebí, až se tohle stane.
Performing the duties of a bishop, and the ordinations were declared invalid. Still, he continued serving the underground church, holding lectures and serving mass in secret locations. Although he devoted his whole life to the struggle for religious freedom, he did not live to see the fall of communism in 1989, dying of heart failure at the age of 67, just a year before the Velvet Revolution.
Daniela Lazarova with that report. Just a reminder that you tune to Radio Prague International, where it's now time for our main feature with Ruth Frankova. She spoke to Danish historian Peter Bugge, who recently received an award from the Czech Foreign Ministry for promoting the good name of the country.
Danish historian and translator Peter Bugge has played a significant role in promoting Czech language, literature and culture in his homeland. Among other things, he helped to create an independent Bohemian studies program at the University of Aarhus and translated works by Václav Havel and Karel Čapek into Danish. Last month, Peter Bugge received the Gracias Agit Award from the Czech Foreign Ministry for promoting the good name of the Czech Republic. I caught up with him on the occasion to discuss his ties to the Czech Republic, and I started by asking him about his impressions of Czechoslovakia when he first visited the country back in 1976.
By the country and slightly mystified. On the one hand, I noticed that at a certain level things were similar to Denmark. People were relatively accessible, easy to talk to the extent that they spoke English or some German. We visited both Prague, where I, of course, loved the architecture, the old town and the castle and so on. Southern Bohemia, my father had a great interest in Jaroslav Hašek and wanted to follow Švejk's Anabasis in southern Bohemia. We visited Slovakia. There we had a car at our disposal with a driver because my father worked in the Ministry of Transportation and his Slovak colleagues obviously had access to cars with drivers, which to me was a complete oddity. That's not the normal standard for civil servants in Denmark, I can tell you, then or now. So there was this, on the one hand, a relatively familiar culture, and on the other hand, some strange phenomena that made me curious.